Hello, everyone. Quick heads up before we start today's episode. The Global Agile Summit is happening on May the 4th. Yes, May the 4th, and even with a big blowout Star Wars party, you have to join. It will be online, and it's, like always, free to attend. We have 4 tracks this year that I'm really excited about, and I think you will too. Stick around to the end of the episode to know what they are. If you want to check it out already now, you can check it out at bit.ly/Global Agile 26. That's the numerals 2 and 6 at the end. So one more time, that's bit.ly/Global Agile 26. All one word, all lowercase, and 2 and 6 are the numerals 2 and 6. So stick around till the end of the episode and I'll tell you what's in store. But for now, on to today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And this week, joining us from Ukraine is Iryna Stelmakh. Hey, Iryna, welcome to the show.
Hi, Vasco. Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
And before we go any further, let me just say on behalf of our whole community, we hope that you are keeping safe and we wish you all the best.
Thank you a lot.
So let me tell you a little bit about Iryna. She's a project and delivery leader and agile coach who helps leaders turn complexity into clarity. I like how you phrase that. With more than 10 years across the US, Nordic, and Eastern European environments, she works at the intersection of business transformation and human systems, building resilient organizations and high-performing teams in complex contexts. And of course, we're going to hear a lot of those stories that brought you to that, I would say, bio, that experience that you've collected over the years. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, Iryna, and how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master?
Yes, that's a good question and a bit funny, by the by. About myself, thank you for the introduction. First of all, Vasco, my name is Iryna Stelmakh, and I am project and delivery lead and agile coach with almost more than 15 years of experience working with teams across Eastern Europe and America, US-based companies. My work sits in the intersection of business transformation and human systems, helping teams and organizations move from complexity and chaos into clarity, as you said, ownership and sustainable delivery, because this is the most painful point for everyone in IT. So about my path to the Scrum Master, my path started even before the role itself existed in the companies where I worked. When I first started in IT industry, I didn't yet know exactly which role I wanted. I started by looking how different teams worked and what roles existed inside tech organizations. And on my opinion, I realized that project managers like the people who solved everything. And that was the beginning, actually. And they connected business, developers, stakeholders, like we say now, and the whole delivery. So very quickly, I realized something interesting. Most project problems were not technical, actually, problems, but that was about communication, decision problems, collaboration, etc. And that's why I stepped into Agile and Scrum. That was my first introduction to that side. And at the moment, I really stayed with a great stakeholder that was integrated biometrics. You can Google it. So this is a public information, nothing about NDA breaking or so, we are safe. That project was one of the first where I experienced Scrum done properly, because I had experience even before, but that was really mature people, mature clients with a technical background, and that was possible to talk with them about the methodology, the most appropriate way of the implementation of that methodology. And that's why we started with a Scrum. And it was very different from some earlier projects where Scrum was only actually used as a label, but in real life. We were working with the chaotic backlog, with all time long change requirements, etc. Yeah. And one more project, for example, the client literally joked that the Scrum was just a convenient way to send change requests all the time.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
I've seen that happening, because there's also a lot of people or a lot of teams that kind of burn out because of the constant change that happens when you have, quote unquote, an open backlog that everybody can look into and make changes.
Right.
But today's Monday, so we explore one of those stories where we, the Scrum Master, didn't do so well. It's a story of failure, but of course we talk about that because we want to learn from the story. So Iryna, share that story with us. We'll dive into the details and the takeaways later, but tell us that story first.
About the failure, right? That was actually, I have many stories regarding the failure, but let me step into the main one. It was pretty hard to work with one of the client. The client was from Israel, and actually, from his meaning, the Scrum was about the agility, and the agility was about about actually everything for him. So he could bring everything that he could, and be extended backlog, not just product backlog, but sprint backlog as well, just many times per sprint.
So it meant no rules, basically.
Actually, yeah. And that's why for me, it was pretty hard. It was one of the first projects that I managed, that I was a Scrum Master for project, let's say correctly. And it was pretty hard for me then to work with that client, because when I started explaining him, he did a step back and he explained me that he is right in the situation, and the business needs are high, and we have to add that task as well. That's why I have to agree. And for me, it was pretty hard to explain that Agile is about cost reduction and not about cost increasing, and by this backlog stack and with tasks that are added one by one, we are increasing the cost of the budget. Yeah, and it was the first time where I didn't manage properly one of the first projects that I had.
That story kind of reminds me of this idea, and I don't know if you ever were exposed to that, but very early on in the Scrum training cycle, so like early 2000s, one of the exercises that we would go through in the CSM class, the Certified Scrum Master class, was kind of a joke, but it was like, what would you do when the backlog changes? And it changes so much that it's got nothing to do with what was there at the beginning of the sprint. And one of the things we talked about is we need to cancel the sprint, right? Like we need to stop it, right? And this was kind of talked about as a little bit in a light mood, not very seriously. But over the years, I kind of realized that we don't do that enough, because canceling a sprint is actually a very heavy operation. First of all, you need to stop everything that you're doing and you need to throw it away. So everything that you started is now not started, right? And then you need to restart the sprint. So you need to do another sprint planning and you need to select what goes into the sprint. But because there's no cost right now in kind of disrupting the sprint, then it's so easy to just, hey, do one more, hey, do one more, hey, do one more, hey, do one more. And you basically destroy the whole idea of why the sprint was there, right? In that case, I'm not sure if you could give that message to the client at that stage, but after that, like, have you been able to share that idea that disrupting the sprint so much actually should cost? Because it's the only way we are going to give value to what the sprint brings, which is kind of this short-term predictability, right?
Yeah, that's right. You are fully right, because actually, if we stop the sprint, we break the whole idea of the agile. That's why it is the easiest way there, just to support the ceremonies, just to support the process of the Scrum methodology itself. That's why if you have some change requests, it is much easier to move it to the next sprint or to reprioritize using the ceremony, like we say, not the ceremony now in the new Scrum Guide, but the meetings again, right? So do the prioritizing via grooming, but not canceling itself, just because it would be more expensive. And in my case, yeah, it was I was able to explain, but after that situation, we realized that when we sell the project, when we talk with the client on the pre-sale phase, we have to explain the way how we work. We have to share with him what are the benefits we suggest as the market experts in IT. And in this case, we are storytelling, we are teaching clients as well, if this is not a technical client. So he is not... it is not necessary for him to know all of that things, right? So we have to explain, we have to declare, we have to put it into the contract before signing, and then it would be easier, not just in composition, but also the technical documentation and how we execute. So yeah, from my side, I did a mistake because I haven't checked the documents. I haven't checked it with pre-sale team and engagement team. And that's why I stuck with the situation where the client wasn't ready to work with me in the Scrum methodology. But then we made few sessions. I talked with him. I explained how it works. And I explained what are the benefits, why we could aim and how we could reach those benefits. And we set up the process, and then it was easier. And all the new tasks were moved to the product backlog and prioritized accordingly.
Absolutely.
So that was a good lesson for me.
That's actually a great story and a great tip, right? Like, we need to start by having that agreement with the client. And teams
Right.
that work with external clients or other external teams need to be aware that the collaboration starts with that agreement first. So great story.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Iryna.
Welcome always.
Hi there, friends. Thanks for sticking around till the end of the episode. So let me tell you what's coming. On May 4th, we're running the Global Agile Summit. It will be online, and I want you there. This year, we have 4 tracks, and each one is built around real conversations with practitioners. No slides, no keynote theater, just honest interviews with people doing the work, just like you. The first track is AI in organizations, where practitioners show what actually works. No hype, just AI that makes your Monday better. Happy Monday, everybody. And then we have the people track. Honest conversations about putting humans at the center of how we work and keeping them there. And third is Agile in construction. And yes, I really mean brick and mortar construction. Lean and Agile actual job sites. Field leaders removing waste, teams transforming how buildings get built. Stay tuned for what I think will be a super track on Agile in construction. And the fourth track is Agile in gaming, how game studios ship without burning out. Agile inside the creative pressure cooker. Over the years, we've had more than 12,000 participants since 2017, the time of the first summit organized with the podcast. And this year, we're making it easier than ever to join. You can register for free and get access to the summit sessions live during the event week. That's May 4th to May 6th. Or you can grab the practitioner pass and get immediate access to last year's keynotes from Jürgen Appelo, Gojko Adzic, and Mirete Kangas. Right now, even before the summit starts. So grab your practitioner pass and start learning today. Head on over to bit.ly/Global Agile 26. That's 26, the numerals 2 and 6. Sign up and I'll see you on May the 4th. And one more time, here we go, bit.ly/Global Agile 26. All lowercase, all one word, and 26, that's the numeral 2 and the numeral 6. I'll see you on the conference floor.